I am determined to become a Romantasy reader because y'all look like you're having way too much fun and I want some too. I have dipped my toes into the genre over the years and it's been more misses than hits, to be honest, but I thought the solution was to just read as many as I could in a row, and then I'll determine what works and what doesn't. Like, for example, this year I did enjoy Dance of Thieves. I was giggling, kicking my feet the whole time, but then I tried Daggermouth, which I guess is more dystopian, but still, I could not deal with it, could not finish it. I tried, but was not for me. So I will be putting on the screen the books that I have on my waiting list at the library so you can tell me which ones I should focus on in the future. And I do have a few physical copies also, so you can tell me which ones you think I should read first. So with that said, I have received some comments saying which ones you thought I was going to love or hate. Usually it's the exact same book. I get both comments, so I don't know. I need to just sacrifice my time and focus on that genre. So I think the first one I will be reading is Shield of Sparrows because a lot of you did say that you enjoyed it. I've been told that it's a very classic romantasy. I think she's a reluctant princess. Yes, but she's 23, which I prefer to not read in the book with a 16-year-old dating a 1,000-year-old vampire. So I think this could be the one. I'm gonna try this one. We'll see how it goes this week, and hopefully by the end I kind of know more about my tastes and I will hopefully get more hits than misses in the future. Is there room for me to read? Are you willing to share? I'm probably gonna be giggling and laughing. Is it just me that has pets that get weirdly offended when I'm laughing? They don't like it, too loud. So I'm gonna start with this one. Wish me luck. Okay, so I'm only 3 pages in and I realized I should have made a bingo card because I feel like this book, I was told that it was very classic for romantasy. And I feel like growing up, the few that I read, they were all the same in the sense that like the female character, like she's not pretty yet every male character wants her. Or she has a very unique eye or hair color. She's clumsy. The male character smells very specific scent, like you smell of spring sunshine or like the desert after the rain, which like those are 2 real descriptions I remember. And I'm already starting to see some of these things in here. For example, she's engaged. She's 23. She's engaged to her fiance. And was he a general or something? Which, like, I don't know how old he is, but, like, a general at that age seems impressive. But his eye color, he has amber starburst in his eyes, which I don't know what that means, but we'll see. But they're not in love, but they're engaged, which I feel like I finally now remember what people were saying about the plot. But I'm going to wait just in case I'm wrong. Okay, so this is messier than I thought. Her sister is supposed to get married to the prince of another nation, but she's sleeping with the captain of the guard. Okay. And we're definitely having the classic thing because she has to dye her hair brown. And it's curly. So I think I'm having that point for the bingo card. Her real hair is red. I win. Her eyes are gold. So like that's 2 points right there. I'm really confused because she is the first daughter of that king. Her mother died and he married past wife's lady's maid and had another child with her, and she's the favorite. And she's the one that has to marry the prince from the other nation. I am confused. Poor princess is forced to wear only gray. I'm assuming she's laying it on thickly to show she's not the favorite daughter. Damn, that's cruel. Things are getting interesting. So the prince arrived. We got a long description of everyone's eye colors. But turns out he came with the guardian and he's the one speaking for him, which like I'm assuming he's actually the real prince. I don't believe this. But her sister was supposed to marry him, but they say, no, we want her. So I'm going to put you down because I need to continue. This is getting good. Are we going to get an enemies to lovers? I like those. I feel like it makes more sense often than not in a fantasy world because you can have actual reasons. They don't work for me whenever the reason seems silly. So contemporary ones can be a bit more hit and miss, but okay. There's a lot of smirking. I don't know if this is considered YA or adult, but things are moving fast, which I appreciate. Like it's over 500 pages. But I like whenever these kind of stories are more readable. Like, I don't really care for the prose in these kind of stories for me. So things are picking up. Turns out her sister, the favorite, was being trained to become a spy. And she will now have to do all of those things. And she's not prepared for any of it. So she will have to try to kill the guardian, the one speaking for the prince, and her father is saying that they might have the secret to save them from the crocs, which I didn't explain it, but every X amount of years there's these giant birds that come and kill everyone. So we'll see if the actual world will be as interesting as the romance. I feel like, again, Romantasy, it really depends on the mix and what ends up working. Okay, two things. First off, there's also the guardian that does not have the starburst thing in his eyes, which I didn't understand what that was, but she doesn't either. So I don't know if that means that they're special somehow, the both of them, which again, this is why, like, right away, I don't know if this is a spoiler. I mean, it doesn't count. I'm like 30 something pages in, but he has to be the prince, and he's acting too much like a jackass. She keeps calling him that. But also, she's bringing contraceptive tea. Which, you know what? I'm laughing, but I do appreciate whenever they make it make sense, because this is an important thing in a romantasy. I get another point here, because we're getting descriptions of the male character's scents, which, again, I don't know technically if the prince is not the prince, but he smelled of soap and cedar, clean and woodsy. Didn't stink of horses or other women. Girl. But yeah, the wedding is happening right now, and I didn't explain it because, oh my gosh, the world building right now, I'm not following everything, but basically, once a generation, a princess has to be married to a prince from another, kingdom in order to keep the peace. So these women are called Sparrow, and she can't kill her king. So will that affect, because again, I still think, I'm in complete denial maybe, but I still think that the guardian is the prince, and that means if she signed this, which she has to, she can't kill him. So that's going to mess things up. But yeah, descriptions, really specific descriptions of their scents. You cannot convince me that this man is not the prince. There's absolutely no way. He is smirking constantly and saying things that are just so inappropriate. And now we're getting his descriptions, which, again, even more detailed than the prince. So again, he's going to be a love interest. It was masculine and spicy, like leather and citrus. It was an ocean breeze of fresh earth and heavy rain. It was as chaotic as his eye color, because yes, his eye color constantly change. That is further than what I put in these descriptions on my bingo card, but she's described it as like brown, green, hazel, and like silver. It has to be a thing. I guess his magic or something. I don't know. And like, she's bringing her hair dye, but like, they're gonna know you're not a brunette. Her father spent the whole night trying to give her all the info. You can't replace 18 years of being told how to become a spy with an overnight thing. She doesn't know how to fight. Like, how is she supposed to kill anyone and give the secrets? She does not seem like someone that can keep a secret, that can ask questions without being found out. You be a good spy? He's attacking my glasses. Chippy, would you be a good spy? That's a no. I'm making some great progress. I am 75 pages in, so it's very readable, I'll give it that. I did have to laugh because she is on her way now on the boat, and she's complaining that that they want her to wear pants instead of a dress. I feel like usually in these books it's the opposite. The girls are forced to wear dresses and complaining about it, so I thought I would mention it because... So on the boat, someone called the prince Xavier his name instead of Prince or Highness, and she notices that. I'm telling you, there's no way that the prince is the prince. It has to be the guardian, because he's acting way to not be the prince. So she already has had to be saved, so she's definitely clumsy. There's no way that girl is going to kill anyone. Anyway, I am at chapter 12. So page 95, I think I'm going to pause here for now, but it definitely is very classic romantasy. I could see myself being interested in the romance if it's the guardian, but we'll see. Like I said, I do like enemies to lovers, but we'll see how it progresses. I do have, another 400, is it 50? No, another 400 pages to read, so I'll keep you updated. Okay, so I am now at chapter 22, page 189, and I have a few thoughts. I still feel like she has to have some kind of magic because she senses something weird about these men, the brotherhood of whatever, the magicians. So, and again, I don't know if the starburst in her eyes, not having any, is that, or whatever it is, she has to have some kind of magic, I feel like. Also, again, I'm still in my theory that the guardian has to be the prince because he has made way too many jokes to make her feel uncomfortable. Like, oh, you seem, in a hurry to go into his bedroom, like your husband's bedroom, because nothing has happened yet. So again, and the fake prince is pretending to not speak, and they're saying that, oh, it's, strategically, if you stay quiet, you can't say whatever. I don't believe it. I feel like I'm going to look back at this if turns out he is the prince and be shocked, but there's no way, because again, the chemistry between the guardian and her, way more present, although he is being a jackass, like she keeps saying. Also, she's supposed to get information about this specific place in their country, like that new kingdom, because the city was destroyed in the past. But every time she mentions that city, everyone stays quiet. So it's suspicious. She's, again, a terrible spy. Not that anyone would have doubted that from the beginning. Oh, and there was a moment also she was being jealous. So a girl that she felt like was a little too close to the guardian. Girl, you are worried about the wrong man, or maybe it's not the wrong man, but still. I'm almost 200 pages in, and they're still kind of traveling, or making her wait and not going to the city she's supposed to spy on. So like half the book has been them traveling, but I am getting more invested now. I feel like at first I wasn't sure because, again, all the classic things that I like to joke about were in here, but I'm starting to get invested. Also, they're being suspicious in general, just having weird conversation and obviously keeping her out of it since they know that she's a spy. There's no way they don't. I'm assuming that's why they decided to go for her and not her sister. Yeah, she's definitely starting to have thoughts about the guardian. So it's like, you really better be the prince. Okay, I'm at 203, which I feel like at this point it's starting to be more spoilers. So I'm gonna, keep it clean for the video. But if you want anything, I can tell you in the comment section as always. But, things are getting a little more intense. What? 205? What? I'm not going to spoil that, I guess, but what? I feel like the only thoughts that I have are about the romance because the world building is confusing. They're sick monsters and then they're preparing for the big birds. I'm not sure how I feel about the world, but the romance is starting to get me invested. I may have started giggling a little bit. Just a little bit, okay? He keeps calling her my queen. Like, I don't care. He's the prince. He has to be. He's her husband. I feel like at this point things would be a spoiler, so I'm going to keep it vague. But I do like the whole forced proximity. No matter what the situation is, like sharing a bed or something, that's not the case. But like any kind of situation like that, it does work also for me. And still definitely giggling. Okay, this is going to be my last update for today because I'm page 283. And all I can think of is like, now kiss. Like, just kiss, okay? I have had the yearning. I'm like more than halfway through. Just kiss already. Actually, in general, the reason I wasn't enjoying Romantasy when I first started doing booktube videos is because I felt tricked multiple times. Like people would say, oh, this is a good fantasy book. And it turned out to be like a romance in a fantasy world, It was that switch up that annoyed me. And I feel like the balance between the two genres, it really depends on how invested I am in what part that will define how invested I am in the story. So I feel like this one, I was more into the romance at first, and now the fantasy elements are starting to become more interesting and I'm a bit more invested into it. It was just a little complicated because she was pretty isolated in her father's kingdom. She was very alone. Her mother passed away. She's being raised by her stepmother and her sister, who is the favorite. She was the one, getting all the secrets and becoming a spy. And she was engaged to a man that she didn't love and barely knew. So she was very isolated, and now she has traveled to this other kingdom, and life there is a bit more dangerous, or a lot more dangerous. So it's a bit like, even though they don't trust her, it's a bit found family vibes for her because she's getting close to so many people compared to how isolated she was before. So yeah, I'm finally starting to get invested in the story. These sick monsters. There's a bit more depth happening. So it looks like I'm going to be enjoying the romance and the world building, but we'll see what happens with the second half. Listen, I devoured this book, okay? I read it very fast. I was emotionally invested. I may finally had the moment that I wanted and had a little, you know, celebratory feet kicking, giggling thing. Okay, I was happy. And this is what I want. I will say though, with Romantasy, the one thing that happens for me is that I have to also care about the fantasy elements, right? The story needs to make sense. And I wasn't too sure where it was going towards the end, but by the end, I was sold. I am enjoying it. I'm a little worried what will happen with the second book, which I did put my name on the waiting list at the library. So I'm definitely continuing. It's just that once the characters, you know, are together, the romance is happening, it needs to sustain my interest. Like we need to still have something. So I don't know what the author's going to do for part 2. And I feel like often what happens is that the political intrigue and again, the actions of the fantasy world need to also be interesting. And in this case, I don't even know how well I explained it in the beginning because I was confused, but the crux, this event that happens every X amount of years, these giant birds come and like kill the population for a while. I wasn't too sure how I felt about it, but now I'm interested. Also, again, the political intrigue definitely happening between, you know, the kingdoms, whole Sparrow thing, having to marry one young woman to another kingdom in order to keep the peace, and maybe some kingdoms not wanting that anymore. For the second book, actually, if you've read it, let me know. Because I looked and book 3 is coming out next year. So this is another thing. If you want to binge read something and all the books are not out, you have to keep that in mind. But no, I ended up being a lot more invested in the romance than I expected. You probably saw that on the first day when I was reacting every 5 seconds. And I could have 100% filled a bingo card with everything. Like, I think the only thing that was missing would be things like a ridiculous age gap. There wasn't one, for example, but otherwise it had a bunch of those like cliche things. But I feel like when you're not enjoying the book, it's just a bunch of things to roll your eyes at. But whenever you're enjoying the book, it's almost like tongue-in-cheek, like, yeah, of course, those are the classic things you see in Romantasy. So I would say this is going to be like a 4-star. I had a lot of fun. There are a few twists. Some you see coming, some you don't. And I'm invested for book 2. Again, I put my name on the waiting list at the library. So I will also be able to actually recommend this to friends. I feel like in real life, some of the books that I read are like really depressing or like hard sci-fi. Nobody in my life wants to read those. But a Romantasy that I actually liked, yeah, we'll 100% find other people to push these books towards, and we'll be able to talk about it. So yeah, this was fun. So I think that tomorrow I'm going to start Quicksilver just because I need to know. A lot of you told me I was going to hate it, but it's so popular. I don't remember what the rating is, but it's super high, which again doesn't mean anything for me with Romantasy. I could love or hate a book no matter what the rating is. But I just need to know, why is it so popular? And why do so many of you think I'm gonna hate it? I'm getting it from the library, so, you know, I'll read it until I don't feel like it anymore. I might read the whole thing, because some of you were worried when I said I was going to read this because you liked it, but you weren't sure I was going to. I did. 4-star. Lots of fun. Lots of giggling. I love a good enemies to lovers that makes sense. And in that case, it did. It's currently really gray outside. I just started my period. I'm not feeling good. So perfect timing to start Quicksilver in bed with, well, now one cat. Hi. Came to say hi, Chippy. So this is the perfect time to start the book. I don't know how bad it's going to be, but you know what? Sometimes the book is bad in a really entertaining way. So hopefully that's what's happening. What do you mean? What do you mean? My book is like, the writing is not big. Why are there so many pages? Oh my god, it cannot be that serious. It just can't be. I've read the first chapter. It's going fine. Usually when a book is really bad, I can tell right away, but I don't have a problem. So maybe I will be forced to read the 1,000 pages. So Charlie's the only one that actually stayed. So at least I have one buddy. We're not cuddling though. No cuddles? Guess not. So I found out she's 24, which I appreciate older. the bar is low, female characters. Her getting arrested and then questioned by the actual queen is not very believable, especially if she's hitting her. I wasn't expecting that. And I forgot it was a book about Fae. That's why it's popular. I haven't been lucky yet with Fae stories, but maybe this one is going to work. But I'm only like 10% into it, so we'll see. I'm clearly falling asleep. I've gotten a little too comfortable, and I think the nap is coming. Did I fall asleep? Maybe. I only made it to chapter 5, which I think it's only 9%. I said I was at 10%, but that was a lie. And it says 12 hours to go? How slow am I reading? Maybe I left it open, but probably not. So I'll see you later because I have to go take that off. It's getting hot, so I'll continue. But honestly, I expected to have a strong opinion right away because of the reviews, but is it amazing? Not yet, but nothing offensive has happened. Usually, like I said, I have a strong opinion quickly, and I don't have a really obvious issue with it yet, so maybe I will like it. So this isn't the update I was planning on doing for Quicksilver. I have a few clips of me starting it. I was mostly shocked by how long it is. On my Kindle, it was like over 1,000 pages. From what I've seen, it's actually 600 pages. So I made it 25% into it as of now. So that's 150 pages. I think it's long enough to have an opinion. But it went really not like expected. Like the first book that I read, I had opinions page 2, you know, I had things to say, and I had heard so many of you tell me in the comment section that it was terrible, that I expected I would have strong negative opinion right away, and I didn't. I had no problem with the story for the longest time. If anything, it was fine. Like the main character is living in a version of this fantasy world where people, the poor, are struggling to drink enough water. Like they have 6 ounces a day. Anyway, you kind of have the setup of how she's living at the moment. She's very poor. Due to circumstances, she ends up meeting the queen and goes to another world, the Fae world. 25% in, I don't think any of this is a spoiler, but the main male character, I'm assuming it's going to be him, saves her, brings her there, and he's very grumpy due to his own circumstances. And I was fine with everything that was happening until that point. My issue, well, you do have to suspend your disbelief a little bit. Like she has to work in a forge and she is always put in those pretty princess dresses, which is funny because again, the other book I was reading before, she's forced to be wearing pants, and it's like the opposite of the usual, you know, stereotype, and then Quicksilver is exactly that. So I did giggle at that, but like it wasn't a deal breaker or anything until the male Fae that is over 1,000-year-old, almost 1,500 years old. You know, a classic for the bingo. He's starting to make weird sexual comments like out of nowhere. I'll try to actually take screenshots before I returned it because I luckily did not return it yet to the library. Oh, I did giggle at the fact that apparently humans now speak common Fae. That's why they can communicate, which... Oh yeah, she gets the chance to ask him anything, and the first questions she asks him is about his penis. Like, that came out of nowhere. Like, I'm all for an enemies to lovers, but this is just awkward. Like, see, this is it. Enemies to lovers for me work in a fantasy world because often more than a contemporary world, it makes sense that they would be enemies. But my issue is often how they go from one to the other. That's what, you know, it's a make it or break it situation. So when it comes out of nowhere, which was my issue with Daggermouth, like here, I don't know. No, it's just not for me. So yeah, the first question she asked him is about his penis. I'm like, okay, whatever, like one weird sexual comments, whatever. And then there were more awkward moments like that until the last page I read. Again, I'll try to put a screenshot. It's just multiple comments and I'm like, where's this coming from? Like, it's coming out of nowhere and I just got the ick and I had to stop. So again, I'm learning to put down books when I'm not enjoying them. And it does help that I also checked my library app, Libby, and I had 2 Romantasy available from the library. So I would much rather pick another one there than continue. Again, I made it 150 pages in. On my e-reader, there's only like 30 pages where all these sexual comments started. So to me, it felt like out of nowhere. Like you're 300 pages in and then out of nowhere, 30 pages where they come up and it's just, anyway.
So instead of forcing myself to continue to maybe hate it according to, you know, what everyone else was saying, which actually, if you have any spoilers, feel free to leave them in the comment section. But yeah, for me, that was enough of an ick to stop. And instead, I'm going to be reading The Night and the Moth, because I have read her other duology. It was kind of wide. Insta Love was a bit much, but this one is adult. So I really want to see how this one is going to go. I know there's another book coming out at the end of the year, so it's at least a duology. So yeah. I'm excited to try this one. I've heard it has some great like fall vibes. So giving up on Quicksilver, I satisfied my curiosity. Faye and me are still not, you know, good friends. So instead we're going to go with that one.
So did I do the thing where I assumed a female author writing a fantasy book with a romance is writing a romantasy? Because so far it's not there and I feel bad. Hopefully it starts soon. I might have spoken a little early. A few feet started moving here. Maybe not all hope is lost. Maybe there's actually a romance that will be happening, but maybe it's just a fantasy with a romance. We'll see. Things are definitely picking up. Also outside, things are picking up. We're clearly gonna get a thunderstorm. It's still daytime. It does not look like daytime. Can I complain for a second? I don't know if I'm the only one, but pretty much everyone I know right now is struggling. I don't know what's up with being an adult lately, but like, there's always something. I feel like my nervous system can never get to a point where I can just relax. Anybody else? I don't know what's going on the last year. It's like getting worse instead of better. But we've had a lot of like heat waves right now. But at the same time, it's so humid and it's been raining a lot. It's been the worst mix ever. And last year I had water in my basement, which was fixed. And I thought that, you know, spring has passed, although the winter snow went away. So if there would have been a problem, it would have happened during the spring. No, we had a lot of rain. So now I have, again, water in my basement, which... Unfortunately, I found my receipt and it's like there's a warranty of like 5 years, so it's fine. But I've been leaving messages. Nobody is calling me back, which I'm assuming other people are having issues with the basement. That's probably more urgent. But like, I just feel overwhelmed, which is why I'm reading Romantasy. I feel like that's what I need right now, to just be giggling and having fun, which, to be fair, has happened earlier this week with the first book, right? But I finished the second one and I need to talk about it because I have such mixed feelings. I feel like the week has been so long that I don't even remember what I've said before, but I did enjoy the setting, like the world building, very gothic vibes, which is what I was expecting. I had been told because she works, she tells people their fortune by being drowned, which sounds so dramatic. And she wears this like shroud and like, there's all those like mythical kind of vibes. I think I lost a clip because I'm missing the part where I explained the plot. So basically, she is called number 6. She was taken in by this abbess when she was a fundling, so an orphan. And her and 5 of the girls, they are just named a number. So she's number 6. And she's chosen to tell the fortune to this new king, child king, really. And he's come by with some of his knights. So she does that. He gets 5 bad omens. They stay over that one night, and the girls might want to go out and, you know, meet the knights. That might be enemies to lovers, although it's more dislike to lovers situation happening. And they go on a mission, which I feel like I don't really want to tell you too much about that because that's the interesting part for the world building. But it gave me vibe a little bit of her other series because there's kind of a mission, you know, going and getting the omens. And that was really interesting. And eventually, the romance did start. For a long time, like almost 50% of the book, I was questioning myself, like, did I just mislabel this book? I thought I had remember it being labeled as romantasy. And like I had mentioned, like I didn't want to be that person that labels a female author because there's some romance in a fantasy world that it's a romantasy. But no, there's definitely a romance that becomes bigger later on. And the kind of romance, for anyone that is looking for something specific, reminded me a little bit of The Everlasting in the sense that it's almost like reverence. It's kind of the way I would describe it. So yeah, beautiful romance. I enjoyed it. Definitely less, giggly and kicking feet than the first book I read this week, but definitely still up my alley. It was less like enemies to lovers. Like they weren't really enemies. Like they just, annoyed each other, but maybe it's because, they caught each other's eye kind of thing. And yeah, I was enjoying it until towards the end. I was starting to question myself also because I had seen that this was a duology, and I was wondering when I would get those vibes because, quite frankly, the first 3/4 of the book sounded like this was going to be a standalone, and I was okay with it. And then the ending happened, which I can spoil in the comment section as always, but like spoiler free. I just didn't like it. It's not that I didn't see it coming necessarily. It's just that I don't know, I just didn't like it. It doesn't happen often that I get to an ending and I just don't like it. I understand why the author did it. I understand that the second book is probably going to be interesting for a lot of people, but it just was not for me. And I'm really curious to hear anybody's review because I did not check any before this because I didn't want anything to affect my opinion, but I had seen that the overall rating was really high for book one, so maybe it's just a me thing, but yeah, I was just really disappointed when I saw how she chose to end it so book two could happen. With that said, I'm probably just going to pretend that the last, 50 pages never happened, and I'm going to be happy with this as a standalone. The book two is coming out beginning of September. I did check, and I might look at the reviews to decide what I do, but I don't think I'm going to pick it up, which really unexpected for me. But yeah, the ending just no, I wasn't happy with it. With that said, this week went fairly well in terms of testing Romantasy novels. I do think that it can be a genre that I will like because, again, overall, book one, I gave it 4-star, book two, DNF, but, I had been warned. And now with third book, even though I didn't love what happened with the fantasy elements, I still enjoyed the romance enough that I would say that this is a good romantasy. I'm giving it 3 stars just because of the ending. But if you're someone that enjoys that kind of setting, I would highly recommend it because chances are you're not going to feel the same way as I did with that ending. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. I thought maybe it would have been a book that I would absolutely hate. And even the one that I didn't finish, Quicksilver, it wasn't that strong of a reaction. I just instantly knew, 25% in, when the romance, I guess, started, I instantly knew it wasn't going to be for me. So I just stopped it. So it didn't end up being like a bad experience for me. Like I said, I did put quite a few books in the intro on the screen that you can tell me which ones I should prioritize because I'm definitely going to do a part 2. I do feel like as a non-romantasy reader, I can absolutely find romantasy books that work for me. I'm actually excited to read the second book of that first series. So hopefully I enjoy it too. If you have, again, let me know because I need to know. Verdict? I think I am a romantasy reader. What's the word? In the making. There you go. I will see you in my next video. Bye.